Jerome Rivera, thank you for the time, sir. How you doing? How has camp been? LFA 14 is just around the corner.
Doing great. Just finished up some strength and conditioning over at Functional Fury. How are you doing today, Micah?
I'm doing pretty well. You mentioned you're over at Functional Fury. How long have you been working with Dwayne Davis?
So previously, before I taken my break from MMA, I had worked with Dwayne Davis for my camp getting ready for Jesus Urbina. So this is my second time around working with him. I've been with him since the beginning of this camp, so about 7.5 weeks we've been together this time, and feeling in the best shape I've ever been in before, without a doubt.
How's the body feeling as you're returning back to flyweight? You mentioned the hiatus, 2 fights since, but both of those were 35. So it's been a while since you've been at 125.
Body feels great for like the way I've been dieting and everything like that. I still feel like I have full strength. I'm not feeling thirsty. I'm not feeling hungry. So yeah, I'm really happy with the weight cut so far. My weight is really light, so I think it should be a pretty easy weight cut for me.
I know after the last fight you went through some contract negotiations. Could it have worked out any better doing that and ending up with a title fight, first fight of the new deal?
That's what I was thinking. Everything just kept getting better and better. First, after the fight, they contacted us saying that they wanted to sign a contract for multiple fights, so I was happy with that alone, knowing that I'd have 3 fights at LFA. And then we were already getting ready to sign the contract, and they're like, hey, well, first fight, do you want to fight Roberto Sanchez? And we're like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then they're like, okay, do you want to fight for a title? I'm like, all right, it just keeps getting better and better. So yeah, first fight for a title, that's great. First fight of the contract.
So I'm pretty sure, as we've known, there's a communication from an LFA, then to your team, then to you. Mm-hmm. So as they're getting back to you each time, what's the oddest reaction when they say title fight?
Yeah, because like I said, they would go to my team, Josh and Phil first, and they'd relay it to me. So I would think, of course, that Josh and Phil were like messing with me a couple times, and then like, you know, Josh likes to play sick pranks on me and get me all excited. Even a couple times in this camp, we're getting ready for the fight, and he called me up and he's like, hey, he's like, guess what? The fight's off. You're not fighting for the title no more. And I was like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, Josh, stop fucking with me. Stop fucking with me. And then finally, he's like, no, I'm just kidding with you. The fight's back on.
So how long would he let that go on for before he tell you the truth? Talking minutes or we're talking hours?
It was minutes. He knows not to let that phone conversation end up. Because I was like, Josh, I was like, if you're serious, I'm going to go eat a green chili cheeseburger right now. I'm just kidding. The fight's on. The fight's on.
That's the way to get the truth. I will go eat a real meal, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go eat some real cheap food.
Now, Roberto Sanchez, what are your thoughts on the challenge ahead of you?
I think he's a really tough grappler. I think he's kind of caught up in his ways of grappling, though. I feel like that's one of the main arts that he trains, and he's not doing a whole lot to evolve that. I heard him say in an interview that he's been training with the same guys for the past 5 years, and he's at Houston Gracie Baja. So that kind of makes me think, you know, he's been around the same guys. He hasn't brought a whole lot of new knowledge in there. They asked him how he's going to beat me. He said he likes submissions in the first round, and then he said if he doesn't get it then, it's the second or the third. And in my knowledge, I'm thinking, how can you rely to win a fight only by submission? What if you don't get that submission? I feel like he's too caught up in those submissions, and I feel like he's going to learn in the fight against me that you need more than just grappling to win. I think my striking is really what's going to make a difference in there. Also, my wrestling, I feel like I'm a better wrestler than him. Grappling is going to be close. We're going to get into some good scrambles, but I'm not going to say that he's a better grappler than me because I feel like I can grapple with him also.
How much does your size advantage play into how this fight will play out?
I think that's going to play a huge advantage also in defending takedowns. I mean, I'm going to be able to see him coming in. He has to close that distance when we're striking. He has to get in on me. And me just being tall in general, I feel like when shorter guys shoot in takedowns on me, even if they're a little bit stronger, I feel like I have a lot of leverage in getting my underhooks and doing stuff like that. So I feel like my height will play a big advantage.
The weight cut's been going well and dieting, but have you hit the point yet where you're like, why am I going back to flyweight?
This camp feels a little bit more realistic actually having a weight cut. Last time it felt weird not like dieting so hard and not having to stress so much about it, but I don't know, definitely maybe a little ways on down the road I might not be able to make 125 anymore. Maybe, I mean, right now it's easy, but I can see that it's going to get difficult as the years go on.
The flyweight division has been in flux. Do you, just as a fan of MMA, do you think it's a viable division, all the talk that's been going on lately?
I really like the UFC, but I don't like the way they treat the flyweight division, specifically Demetrius Johnson, and you look at guys like Ray Borg and everything like that. I feel like they're just completely disrespected, especially how Dana White was making claims to cut the UFC flyweight division if Demetrius didn't fight TJ Dillashaw. I just feel like the UFC has lost a lot of its morals that they used to have in general, but I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about that.
Now for you, the title fight, how much is the title thought, the 5 rounds played into your head, first 5-round fight?
As far as like the title goes, like that doesn't really seem realistic yet till I like actually get it around my waist. I don't know, it feels like I'm just training for any other fight. Like, it's gonna be a great accomplishment and I'm gonna be really excited that I can possibly get a belt at the end of this. But as far as that goes, it feels just like any other fight. I'm just doing a little bit more extra cardio and putting in some more extra time just to make sure that I'm ready for those 2 extra rounds. But like my coach is telling me, I was going a little bit too crazy there for a minute, training like 3-4 days every day, going weeks without a rest day. And he's like, you know, sometimes people get excited when you get a title fight and we want to go kill ourselves and hurt our bodies, but really you got to do what you did that got you there. And so that's what I'm doing, just doing what I did that got me there, adding in a little bit more cardio, and to be ready for June 23rd.
As a young man in athletics, I'm pretty sure you were told you need to be working. If you're not working and you're resting, the other guy's out there working. He's out working you. How crazy is it now from that amateur athlete to a professional athlete where science has got to the point where, I'm not calling you a horse, but we got to pull the reins back. You need some rest days. You have to take care of yourself. How crazy is that, a mental transition? Because you've been in this game a long time already.
Yeah, it's crazy because me and my coach Joshua Montoya always used to say that, like, you need to be working out when he's not working out. You need to be here when he's not, and that is true to an extent. You know, you do want to be working when your opponent isn't. You do want to be putting in as much work as you can, but you got to do it smart. You can't go and just kill your body and go train every single day and not take any rest days, because then you're not just your body gets tired, your mind gets tired mentally, and you go into those practices and you're not taking in as much knowledge as you should be because you're kind of just like sitting there kind of dead, worried about your body. Yeah, so it is good to put in that work, but knowing how much work to put in and taking that right recovery time.
You had a 16-month layoff and now you're just putting in work. I mean, the Jackson Wink Fight Night fight, short notice, quick to sign with LFA. I gotta say, quick turnaround here. I was quite surprised when they announced it, actually. You just fought. What is that like now? From you were finding yourself to you're active as hell again in this game.
I like it. It feels like I started my career all over again almost, because when I was an amateur, I was fighting every month, every 2 months. I think when I'd had my 4 amateur fights, I'd gotten those within a span of like 6 months. So I like it. It feels just like I'm starting all over again. I like fight after fight after fight. That way I stay in shape. But my training camps have been a little bit short. I think this one was like a 7.5 to 8 week camp. And the 2 before that, Zach Riley, was a 5-week camp. The one before that was a 2-week camp. So I would definitely like maybe at least 8 to 12 weeks in between my next upcoming fights.
What does it take to defeat Roberto Sanchez next Friday?
Roberto Sanchez, the main thing it takes is going to be patience. I can't go in there and start trying to hunt him down and force strikes, because that's what he's going to want me to do, is overcommitting on punches so he can set up takedowns. I can't be throwing lazy kicks out there. I just got to go out there, be smart, be patient, use my range, and I think it'll be a really good night for me.
Jerome, the Renegade Rivera, thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you, Micah.